The following text is taken from an article in the National newspaper from the 8th of June 2025, written by Xander Elliards and entitled "Is Scottish Independence Already Begun as UK Political Culture Diverges?"
A form of Scottish independence has begun already, due to the growing cultural and political divide between England and Scotland, a leading expert in human geography has said. Professor Danny Dorling of the University of Oxford told the Sunday National that the divergence is particularly evident in social policies such as the Scottish child payment. This policy, he said, has significantly helped tackle child poverty in Scotland while remaining almost entirely ignored by English political elites, who he accused of wearing unbelievable blinkers. Dorling described the mid-pandemic launch of the Scottish child payment by the SNP in February 2021 as both really interesting and largely unnoticed south of the border. The professor said the SNP had worked out the cost of living crisis could be just as deadly as the pandemic. Nobody says it like that, but certainly it's important, he went on. Prices went up 30% in a couple of years. That's really serious. In response, he noted, the Scottish government introduced a modest £10 weekly payment for children under 6 in families claiming benefits. The clever thing politically is the point of principle. Once it's established, you're no longer debating it, Dorling said. He compared the move to an early New Labour policy. In 1997, they introduced a very small fee for going to university. It's just about £1,000 a year, right? We now have the highest fees in the world in England. The Scottish child payment has been cited as a key reason that child poverty rates are falling in Scotland even as they climb in all other UK nations. Figures published in March showed that 31% of children across the UK were in relative poverty, up from 30% the previous year. In Scotland, however, the rate had dropped from 26% to 22%. Dorling argued that this is contributing to a growing divide between politics north and south of the border since 1997, but earlier, if you look at the MPs elected as independents in the 1970s, a growing cultural divide between England and Scotland. Scotland used to be in some ways culturally really part of the Union. You used to produce some of the most obnoxious government ministers. You go to Edinburgh University and learn how to be nasty and go into finance. You shouldn't underestimate how English Scotland was, even in my lifetime. However, he said that, especially among young people, the divide between English and Scottish politics was widening. You know, we no longer get any Scottish students, the University of Oxford professor said. I haven't met in 12 years a student from Scotland. Why would you travel down to England and pay fees? So there is a way in which a form of independence has begun already. It's cultural, especially with the young people.